Hey there, Internet. It's Steve. And I decided to make a video because apparently, with the crappy winter that we've had this year, people are doing some strange stuff with snow. No, not that, you perverts! No, what I'm talking about is a video that's going around like Facebook and YouTube and all that, where people take a handful of snow, turn into a snowball, because that's a natural thing to do during the winter time, but then they'll take a lighter to it. All right, and they'll let the lighter sit there for a little while, and then it doesn't look like the snow is melting the way that they expect it to. In fact, it forms a little black line on the outside of the snowball. So it's like, well, this is weird. So the next thing you do with something weird is to smell it, right? So smells kind of like vulcanized rubber. And then people have that oh crap moment that, oh, it's the government and they're putting stuff on our air and that's why our snow is polluted and that's why it's not really snow and it's gonna kill us all, it's gonna kill us all. No. No, 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 no. It's just science, folks. All right? That's what I'm going to show you with my video. I'll show you what people do with the snowball, and I'll show you why it's just science, and I'll prove to you that snow really does melt the way it's supposed to. All right? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain a couple of basics of science that'll help you understand what's really happening. Now, down the bottom of my video, I'll tell you, how far to skip if you just want to see me play with fire. Okay, which you're here to be entertained, right? But those of you that are interested, there's three big things we have to understand about this whole government snowball of doom concept. All right. The first thing is to understand how a snowflake is formed. All right. Most people screw the pooch on this one. They think that it's just ice. It's just frozen water. No, 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 no. A snowflake is formed when very, 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 very cold water comes into contact with dust or pollen, and it freezes. Okay, and then of course comes down to the ground thanks to gravity. I hate to burst your bubble, folks, but the sky is filled with dust and pollen and debris. It's natural. Okay, I know for some of you clean freaks, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Okay, so that means that your snow is not just water, it's water with a little bit of dust, to simply stated. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is understand a little bit about phase changes. Now, I'm sure most of you out there understand the basic phase changes of matter, freezing, melting, evaporation, condensation, right? Well, there are some cases where the energy change happens so quick that one of the phases of matter, primary phases of matter, is skipped completely. And we have two cases like that where we go from solid to gas, and then the reverse, gas to solid. All right, if we're going straight from solid to gas, that process is called sublimation. Okay, you can actually see this happen with dry ice. You leave it sit out out in the open, it's gonna go straight into CO2. Okay, the reverse of the process is called deposition. Okay, and it's just for the record. The main thing we're going to be focusing on is sublimation, because that's what's happening on the outside of our snowball when we're just using the lighter to it. All right. On the surface, even though a lighter is a fairly weak flame, it's still not one where I'm gonna put my finger in it for like a minute and then not be hurt. Of course, it's gonna burn because hello, it's a flame. But in terms of types of flames, a lighter flame is fairly weak. All right, but still, it has enough energy to cause those water molecules in our snow to go straight into sublimate straight into gas. All right. Now, if you let your lighter hit that snowball long enough, you should start to see it melt. All right, because it will start to melt. You gain enough energy. Energy is going to be transferred into the snowball. At least this is my best guess with it, because energy is going to go from higher to lower concentration. All right, so energy is going to go. Whatever energy doesn't sublimate the ice on the surface, it's going to go into the snowball, and the snowball is going to melt. Okay, so that's another concept that we have to understand to really get what's going on. The third thing is formation of soot. Okay, because remember, our snowball has dust and dirt and in it. Okay, now soot is formed from the incomplete combustion of hydrocarbons. For those of you that don't understand that and want me to tell you this in English, basically that means if you use a weak flame, kind of like our lighter, it doesn't burn off the hydrocarbons, doesn't burn off our dust completely. Okay, it doesn't burn it cleanly. So what ends up forming is we have hydrocarbons, we have soot, kind of like in your fireplace. The fireplace, it creates an orange flame. Orange flame, though it's a big flame in your house, it's still relatively a weak flame, and it's going to produce the soot. That's why you got to get your chimney cleaned, because soot and debris forms on the inside from that weak flame. All right, so these are three major things that are happening when you do the little lighter experiment. Now that you've sat around, listened to me yap a little bit about the science behind this, let's go play with some, well, first let's go make some snowballs and then play with fire.
So now what you see is the outside of my house. It's about 15 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And you see I have a decent little sample size of snow to play with out here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is make a couple snowballs for you, bring them back in the house, because I'd much rather do the rest of this from the comfort of the inside of my house, where it's just a little bit warmer than 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so you ready for this part? The real fun part? Me making a snowball. Woo-hoo-hoo. Alright, so snow. There's a snowball. I'll make one more. There's my second snowball. 2 snowballs. Frosty would be proud. Now that I'm back in the nice, warm environment that is my house, let's continue this video. I have my snowballs I made outside, right here. Yep, Frosty is singing soprano right now. So now we're going to test. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do what everyone out there in internet land is doing and trying to make you think there's some sort of government conspiracy. I have Mr. Scripto here, or if you got Mr. Bic or whatever you got, use it. And you might notice the surface of my snowball is changing. And oh my God, it's not dripping the way it should. That means that there's a government conspiracy out there. And come on, lighter. Means that, oh my God, there's a government conspiracy that's keeping my lighter from lighting, right? Oh, it's a good thing I have a spare. Aha! So, it's not melting the way it should. It's a government conspiracy. Because snow's not melting the way I think it should, because I didn't pay attention in science class, and oh my God, there's black stuff that's forming on the outside. That couldn't be soot. Yeah. Right. So our soot is forming on the outside. You do have sublimation that's happening on the outside surface of the snowball, and whatever energy is not sublimating the surface, it's going into the snowball, and it's going to cause this thing to start dripping if you heat it up long enough. All right, so I'm doing this long enough just to be able to get a nice little sample size of soot, our unburnt hydrocarbons. Smells like crap because soot, and you got to think about this. Both of these things, they both use butane. Okay, so whatever butane is not being ignited, it's going to be absorbed by the water that's in the snow. Okay, because if you press down on a lighter and you don't light it, this model doesn't really have as much, but some models, you can hear it hiss, and you can see some fumes coming off of it. That's the butane. Even when you got it lit, not all the butane is going to light. Okay, so whatever's not being ignited, it's being absorbed by the water in the snow. Okay, so now that we're done playing around with this kitty crap with the lighters, let's go to one of my favorite tools around the house, Mr. Blowtorch. Notice the nice blue flame on Mr. Blowtorch. That means blue flame. Blue flame on the blowtorch means it's a nice strong flame. Snowball number 2. Notice that since this is a nice blue flame, I'm not even thinking about touching this snowball with my bare hands, because I don't want to get burnt by a blue flame. Wouldn't want to be burnt by a Bic, but I really don't want to be burnt by my propane torch. So I've had this all over the surface of my snowball, and lo and behold, no black. I wonder why that is. Or could it be that the hydrocarbons are burning off? Could be, because this is a nice blue flame. And I don't know if you guys can see it out there, but my snowball is dripping pretty darn well. So yes, relax folks, it's just science. This is happening the way it should. Snowball is melting. It smells pretty clean to me. And if I didn't mention it before about the fuel, if you don't believe me about the butane with the lighter, try to experiment with a match. Okay, because you're not going to have butane. It's just going to be wood and, well, of course, chemicals on the top of the matchstick head. But try just using a matchstick. And then when you smell it, yeah, you're going to have soot, so you're still going to smell the soot. But I would be willing to bet it doesn't have the exact same rubbery smell, because you're not going to have butane in your snow. All right, now I'm going to try to grab my other snowball here. Remember Mr. Black Snowball? Try to grab this with the tongs. And we're going to introduce Mr. Black Snowball to Mr. Propane Torch. And as you're probably seeing, why, looky, 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 lo and behold, the soot's going away. Once again, propane torch is producing a nice strong blue flame, and that's what's going to allow those hydrocarbons to burn nice, clean, and even. And as you can see here, snowball's dripping pretty darn well. Hopefully that helps to explain what's going on with the snowball. This way, if someone tries to convince you that snow doesn't melt the way it should, you can tell them, yeah, it does. You just didn't pay attention in science class. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. And if you liked the video, click like. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll make some more of these. It just depends upon if there's something else out there in internet land that's annoying the crap out of me. I'm sure it's out there. I just haven't found it yet. Have a good one.